my name's Jialin, and this is one of my prints throughout the series of 7. And my story that I'm trying to convey through them is that the kokako and stitchbird is very endangered. And throughout time, and when the European settlers came by boat, they actually disturbed the land and brought they brought stoats and rats and possums. So in this particular print, the European settlers have just arrived and they've kind of invaded the space of New Zealand, as you can see on the map there, and our native birds have kind of been pushed to the side, as they didn't really know very much on biodiversity and how ecosystems work back then, so they were kind of invading our space. The first print is actually how the birds came to be, like mythologically, as in the Maori myth, is the wattle bird, which is actually the kokako, brought water to Maui when he was fighting the sun, and the stitch bird is actually quite yellow, so it got its colour because Maui threw it in the fire because it wouldn't give him water. And throughout it, it shows how New Zealand was plentiful with native birds and how the numbers dropped as settlers came in. And then in my last series of prints, they start to die out, so the background you'll see will actually get duller and become more neutral, even to tinge brown, so then it represents that they are dying off. And it also shows what would happen if we had no native birds left on our land. We would lose the whole difference of like what makes New Zealand different. So I've learned quite a lot of things, like how to do collagraphs, as that's my background, and I use the crinkly kind of texture to make a wave, like a rough seas texture when settlers come in. And we've also done intaglio, and I put that on top of a woodcut so you can bring out the fine feathers of each bird. But the problem is when you have woodcuts and collagraphs, you never really get the same one twice. So that was quite problematic if you wanted it to go one way and then you print it on your actual background and it doesn't turn out the way you want it. And I've also drawn back into it to bring out the features a bit more.